Yo, yo, yo. What's good? What's good? It's Stormy B Man, and I am back. Welcoming you to Nerds on Culture with Stormy B Man for this Wednesday, August 19th, 2026. This is number 170 in the series of Nerds, where this evening we're going to discuss the MCU Phase 7, an exciting future looms. Yeah. Let me tell you something. It's time to get on board with that which you find entertaining. And I definitely find these films entertaining. Pulling away from the so-called beloved sport of boxing, because there's nothing to see there. I'm gonna find ways to embellish the channel with more of this type of fare, and my love for the Kung Fu film is still strong. So just like tomorrow, we have a show set up to talk about the Kung Fu film joints as well. I'll let the others have the boxing because it is what it has come to be, and none of that is for me. Yeah. But this show this evening, you notice we got two nerds going on in 1 week. The whole point of this is the excitement that has come forward, especially with the release of Spider-Man Brand New Day, which readily disproved the notion of superhero fatigue. The film has already, in just 2 to 3 weeks, garnered $2 billion. The fastest superhero film to trek toward 2 billion since they've been monitoring this. The excitement is such that the studio, Marvel, has decided to put tickets on pre-sale for December's release of Avengers Doomsday. And those tickets have pretty much sold out as well. It's like people are once again excited about the MCU. And what's a little bit different this time is because we're going to be fast tracking into phase 7 soon, beginning in 2027. What's interesting is this. No, excuse me, 2028 will begin phase 7. But what's interesting is this. Phases 4 and 5 were dismal. There was a lot of the attention thrown towards the whole thing of D&I, woke, whatever else you want to name that attention agenda setting environment that came around our entertainment for the escape. And it was a drag, and the box office results showed that. But Marvel has done some house cleaning, some self-checking, and they have turned a tremendous corner in recognizing that the audiences who paid their dollars for this entertainment need to be listened to. And they have redirected themselves, and they're going back toward what was the original agenda, was to provide storytelling from generations of source material cinematically. And they are well on their way now. With the announcement of D23, the new X-Men cast, just this past weekend, and the success of Spider-Man Brand New Day, they can't wait to give you what you've been asking for. And that's all we can do, is just, wait with patience and wait for the studios to bring us what we're looking for. So here we are this evening, just to talk about it a little bit. Once again, I'm by myself this evening. My brother Drew Titan, who's my partner on this show, he has a different schedule this evening, so you see him in the chat there. But we will be collaborating again. But this evening show was just something that I was inspired to bring forth, because I rather do this than to talk about the sports. So I appreciate each and every one of you who have come to check in with me this evening. We're simulcasting across several channels. We got the Rumble channel, the YT channels of Stormy B Man, and Temple of Culture and Entertainment. And I don't anticipate there being anything unruly, so you can steadfastly participate from any of the channels, or all of them if you like. Go to each one and give it a like. I appreciate that. But the films in question that we will be talking about this evening had a lot to do with their announcement at the recent D23 show where they just let loose on what we can expect coming forward in the future. But before I get into that, I want to explain something about the phases of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You see, they hit a home run when they decided to categorize their film releases in phases, because that didn't mean that there would be a ton of movies each phase, but what they did was created with each subsequent film and coming to an end of a phase, that was like reading chapters in a graphic. It began the first 3 phases as the Infinity Saga, beginning with Iron Man in 2008, culminating with Spider-Man Far From Home 2019. So, see, they had a decade of these films that they entertained us with. I'm going to take a quick moment and acknowledge who we got in the chat, because we got people out here who are not only supporting, but they are, we got a Rumble rant from the brother EJ over there on Rumble. Says, phenomenal topic for nerds, Sensei. Shout out to the final boss, Rumble. Heavyweight. Appreciate you there, EJ, with that Rumble rant. On the YT side, we got Drew Titan with all of his channels. The Painful Excellence Podcast, Bear Cave Entertainment. Derek Gaines is in the building as well. Rod Neal was first in the building. What's happening with you, brothers? Joe Townsend in the building this evening with us. What's going on, Joe? Appreciate you being here. EJ doing double duty on both sides. Who else we got out here? Hen Dog, the fearless one, is in the building. And the brother Young Deezy is back, the resident stat man who helped me out on Monday. Appreciate you and your work with me on Monday, man. It was outstanding, and it's quite a listen. I went back and reviewed the show, listened to it a second time, and really enjoyed that, man. You did a great job helping me out on the show, and I appreciate that so much. Like to have you up again, maybe even this evening if you're not busy. We got David Scott III out there. What's going on with you? Appreciate you showing up again. And who else we got? Columbia is showing up over there on the Rumble side, along with Universal Truth. I appreciate each and every one of you who have come out to show Stormy B Man a little love and support. In between Iron Man and Spider-Man Far From Home, the bookend films of the Infinity Saga, Iron Man was followed up with The Incredible Hulk from 2008, Iron Man 2 from 2010, Thor arrived in 2011, Captain America the First Avenger also in 2011, and the crossover first time Avengers from 2012. Phase 2 started with Iron Man 3 from 2013, Thor the Dark World also 2013, and Captain America the Winter Soldier 2014, a film that many people have stated is not, if not the best, but one of the best MCU films in their entire library, Captain America the Winter Soldier. That was followed with Avengers Age of Ultron from 2015 and introduced Ant-Man in the same year. Captain America Civil War kicked off 2016 and was the first film of Phase 3, and it was followed by Doctor Strange in 2016 as well, and Guardians of the Galaxy were introduced in 2017. And because we had in Civil War the introduction of Spider-Man coming back into the graces of Marvel and the MCU with Spider-Man Homecoming, his breakout film, 2017, Thor Ragnarok followed. And then in 2018 was the introduction after his pre-introduction in Civil War, Black Panther, who arrived on the scene in 2018 and was snapped out of his existence just that fast. He, Peter, and several of the other newcomers in Infinity War, which closed out 2018, along with Ant-Man and the Wasp. Listen, man, these films were something else. Captain Marvel kicked off 2019, followed up by Avengers Endgame, and like I said, the last film of the phase was Spider-Man Far From Home, 2019. These movies did so much for the audiences that it just made you feel like you were a part of something really great going on. And people cheered, they jeered, they had highs, they had lows. People cried, people screamed, people complained, people just expressed themselves in each and every way possible because these films had an impact. And that's why, again, this show is what it is. It's for us to nerd out and come here and talk about it all, because sometimes when you go to the theater and you're eating your popcorn and having your drink and you're watching this on screen, that experience that enraptures you for the 2 hours plus or whatever that you spend, sometimes you want to revisit it. You want to talk about it with someone who shared likeness of feelings and thoughts, expression. It's like watching an old soap opera, right? And you'd be like, hey, did you see what so-and-so did on General Hospital? You know, that kind of thing. It's like, but this is totally different, you know, but still that same feeling. Mr. Shelton's in the building. I see you out there, brother. Also, T. Berry has joined us. Appreciate everybody that's coming into the building. Thank you so much. Listen, the multiverse saga began phase 4, phase 5, and phase 6. But this is where Marvel ran into some issues. Because when the multiverse saga came into fruition, Disney Plus had added television shows and series from the Marvel Universe, something that we probably really didn't need, but at the same time, expansion was there because of all of the previous success. But sometimes expansion can hurt you. We've seen it happen in professional sports when the league of basketball, football, let's use football, where there used to originally be like, 16 teams or something like that. And when they grew with more teams to add to the league, not only did the quality of the game kind of go down, but that expansion, even though there were cities that wanted to have a professional sports team, it just wasn't the same. And they have never recovered for that. We've seen it in baseball as well as the NBA. So sometimes expansion is not a good thing. Not a good thing. But that multiverse saga began in 2021. Phase 4 had several films. Black Widow, the long anticipated but possibly passed through film that would explain the origins of Natasha Romanoff, who had become very popular. Then followed up by Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, also 2021. And then that was followed up by The Eternals. And then finally, Spider-Man No Way Home, the sequel to Homecoming in 2021. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness kicked off 2022 along with Thor, Love and Thunder. And Black Panther, Wakanda Forever was the film that closed the year out. Phase 5 introduced Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania for 2023, Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3 in 2023, The Marvels, and that closed out the year of 2023, where Deadpool and Wolverine kicked off 2024, along with Captain America Brave New World in 2025. The Thunderbolts, also known as the New Avengers, kicked off 2025 as well, as Phase 6 came in with the Fantastic Four First Steps and Spider-Man Brand New Day. This year, listen, the year will close out with Avengers Doomsday, and there's so far one film on the schedule for next year, and that'll be Avengers Secret Wars for 2027. Now, they're talking about that possibly being a two-parter. It may be a two-parter, it may not be. But you can rest assured that after Secret Wars, the universe will be forever changed, because you're going to, at that point, have all of the characters existing in one universe and no more other studios with interference like Sony, Fox, New Line Cinema, who else? There was one more, Universal. They're going to have everything under one roof. And that's best, because the way that they can tell these stories is the way that people really want things to be. And then to concentrate on source material, that's going to be what they really want to do. So this past weekend, D23, they announced the first films of Phase 7, starting with X-Men. And they announced the cast, which we talked about on our last show, Monday, where the X-Men cast was announced. And then Ghost Rider, where Ryan Gosling is going to be playing the Rider. And then Ryan Coogler has already announced that he has his new Black Panther ready to go for Black Panther 3 in 2028. These 3 films are what we're looking forward to. Now, I want to tell you, the title of this evening's show being An Exciting Future Looms. You must understand, people, when we talk about the X-Men being introduced under Marvel Studios and the 3rd film featuring Black Panther, kind of sandwiching Ghost Rider in between. Ghost Rider is going to assist in bringing that dark element like the television show Moon Knight. You see, Ghost Rider is going to introduce some elements. We may even get a chance to see Mephisto and things like that. it's going to really take us in a different direction. But the X-Men are going to kind of take over that spot for multiple characters like the Avengers, but because they're consistently a team of mutants, there's plenty of stories to tell there. And I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel begins to adopt stories where the titles of the film will be incorporated by way of the story that from the graphics. That would be wonderful because it will let you know exactly what's happening. Something similarly like when you talk about what is it? I'm trying to think of the Dark Phoenix story. Even though Fox did it twice, I think the third time will be a charm with Marvel Studios, because not only will they have access to all of the characters, but there's just something about Kevin Feige's brain and how he works these issues out with the characters and how far to take them, who to push over the ledge, who to keep back from the edge. All of that is going to make a difference. And I can't wait to see how he brings the new X-Men into things. So this is what we're talking about, and this is what we have to look forward to. I think a number of you out there, you guys know exactly, if you follow the graphics, you know exactly what you want. And I do believe they're going to deliver. That's going to be exciting. So looking forward to that. We got Jamil is out there. He says Mephisto was already introduced in Ironheart. Yeah, but this is the thing. Yes, he was introduced, but you haven't seen him on the big screen. And it doesn't mean much until he gets on that big screen, because I'm going to tell you, those TV shows, some of them, pun intended, will be phased out, especially after Doomsday comes along and begins to rewrite the reality. So this is something you can look forward to. You can say goodbye to the likes of She-Hulk and Ironheart, and all of that is going by the wayside. But there are doors that will be open for other things. Just as in, I think it's October or November, we're going to have Vision Quest, which is another Disney Plus show, the third part in the trilogy of the WandaVision series that was followed up by Agatha All Along. Vision Quest, we'll see the White Vision come back. Still Paul Bettany playing the Vision character, but guess who else is coming? The return of Ultron, James Spader. That's going to be wild, because Ultron, just as in the comics, you can't kill the guy. Once he was created, he's here. He's AI and he is here. And what more does he need? The world is going more and more to AI every day, and Ultron is loving that reality. So get prepared, huh? You'll be in your laptop tomorrow. Yeah. So we can look forward to all of this. But Mephisto, cinematically, listen, I'm telling you, once they introduce that guy, there's hell to pay. Literally. Yeah. So T. Berry says, I'm getting ready to read the comic that Doomsday is supposed to be based on. Okay. Do that, bro. Do that. Yeah. Do that. All of that is going to be very worth the while. I remember as we were approaching Infinity War parts 1 and 2, which they were announced they were announced as originally, but it became Infinity War and then Endgame. Uh, I read the Infinity Saga for the book, and boy, was that a good read. There were elements of the book in the film, but certain things that we didn't get to see, but they filmed. Like when Nebula stole the Infinity Gauntlet from Thanos. In the comic, in the graphics, she stole it and she had it, and it was a trip while she had the Infinity Gauntlet. They actually filmed that for the film, the Russos, but they didn't include it in the movie. It's out there somewhere waiting to be seen as a deleted scene. Great stuff. But yeah, reading the books, the graphics ahead of time always helps. I remember reading The Winter Soldier and that scene where Cap was on the elevator with those Hydra agents in the movie. The Russos shot that when Cap was saying, before we get started, does anyone want to get off? And boy, he fought those guys on that elevator. And then he dove out the window and landed and took out a Quinjet that was trying to take him down. And then he escaped. That was a heck of an octane boost scene right there. But right out of the pages of the graphic, because Cap was in this warehouse and Maria Hill was outside with a Quinjet and another guy was outside with another Quinjet, and they were telling Cap to surrender because they basically had some, SHIELD agents trying to take Cap down, and Cap wouldn't surrender. So they start firing on him in the warehouse with the guns from the jets, and he jumped out of the window and dove into the cockpit, knocked out one of the pilots, and flew away with the Quinjet. So the way the Russos shot the action in the movie, it was very reminiscent of the comic, even though they didn't repeat all the beats, but it was the same result. And just seeing them do that cinematically, it was so cool. It was so cool, man. I really loved that. I never heard too many people talk about it. And it was interesting because when I watched the movie live in the theater, I recognized what was happening right away. I was like, oh, this is like in the comics. So that was pretty cool. David Scott says, don't introduce King Thanos. It will really be over. Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You don't bring these characters through this process and not give the audiences these particular beats. That's just like in the original Infinity Saga, when Thanos had defeated all the other Avengers, it was only Captain America standing up to him. And Thanos had said one of his wry scripted moments of speaking, and Cap told him, as long as I'm here to stand between you and the rest of existence, he was like, I'll stand against you any day or whatever. Cap gave him his speech, right? And he stood right in front of Thanos, even though it was just him and he was facing Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. That's just like in the movie where Thanos and Thanos's army was standing across the field from Cap, and he was on the ground. He picked himself up. His shield was broken. He tightened that strap on his shield, and he walked toward Thanos. And even though it was Thanos and all of his Chitauri and all of them other alien creatures, Cap was ready to take all of them on. He was battered, bruised, bleeding. He didn't care. But guess what happened? Those portals started opening up, You heard Sam Wilson's transmission. Cap, can you hear me? On your left. Yeah. And the rest is history. When all those portals started opening up and Thanos was looking across the field like, what the world is this? Ibambe! Black Panther walked through there, he and Shuri and Okoye. Man, it was on and popping. That's one of the greatest scenes cinematically ever. And the music fit what was happening because it was very dramatic as they all were coming through in different groups and everything. You saw Spider-Man come swinging through with the Guardians, and you saw Wong come through, Doctor Strange. Man, you saw all the Wakandan soldiers come through there. That was great, man. How do you top that? They're gonna try this December. They're gonna try. I'm not so certain if they'll be successful, but I want to be there to see it. it just, you know, it's what you go to the movies for, man. Yeah. But yeah, this X-Men film, that's going to be something. I'm hearing rumors that they even want The Rock to play Apocalypse, who is supposed to be like the original mutant or something like that. So if we get that, that's going to be interesting. Tay-Tay, what's good with you? I see you out there. That's going to be, oh man. I could see The Rock being Apocalypse too. That would be, woo. Yeah. That's right. We rumbling out here. Mm-hmm. EJ says Apocalypse is the original mutant. Yeah. Yeah, but that David Scott talking about that Thanos situation with him and Doom, I can almost assure you that is going to happen. That's going to happen. They got to show that. One of the most epic moments. Jimmy Bernard is asking, they're going to bring Thanos back? Well, listen, Doom is going to take everybody and put them in battle world, right? When he shapes his own reality. So Thanos, who's been a major player through the Infinity Saga, there's still elements of him out there from different universes, you know? Because remember in Infinity War, when Tony asked Doctor Strange how many scenarios was he able to see where they fought Thanos, and he told him it was like, I forget the number he said, but And he said, well, how many do we win? He said, one. So think about all those times that Thanos defeated them. So Strange is going to come along and defeat Thanos. Let's just put it that way. It'll be spine chilling. Yeah, boy. That was a direct pun. For those who know, you know. If you don't, just watch the movie. Yeah, buddy. I'm excited for that new Black Panther too, because we'll get to see T'Challa return. They should have just went ahead and recast the guy. But they're gonna make up for it. Jimmy Bernard says he's pissed with the Blade movie. Unbelievable. Listen, man. Let me tell you something. You can't miss what you ain't never had. You know what I'm saying? And don't allow that to get in the way of you enjoying anything else, because Blade is gonna come around. It's gonna come around. It just didn't happen with this scenario here, but it's still gonna come around. Wesley Snipes is gonna be in Secret Wars, and from what I understand, they still might have Mahershala in there as well. And going forward, there will be a Blade, because he's got to be with the Midnight Suns, with Ghost Rider, and all of those characters, Moon Knight in them. So it's like, don't worry, man. You find something else to get pissed about, like that sport of boxing, like how I am, and don't deal with that no more. See? Because if anybody was done with this stuff, it was me. But when Marvel turned this corner with Spider-Man, and I had gotten word that they cleaned house and got rid of all those writers and producers out of there and got rid of all that woke stuff, I was like, okay, are they calling me back? And so I'm back. But hey, I'm back because of good reasons. You know what I mean? You know, people gonna piss you off, man. You know what I mean? And then you might reconcile, huh? You reconcile and you keep it moving. Huh? That's where we are right now. We're under the reconciliation of Marvel trying to get it right. They like your money, and they sorry. It's like, we're sorry that you stopped giving us your money. Please come back. Yeah, that's what they did. And here we come. That's what hey, man, hey, you know what I mean? You can swear off of cheeseburgers, right? No more cheeseburgers. And you drive past one of them joints and you be like, no, man, it was just calling me. It was calling me. Shoot, they still got tons of characters out there that we ain't seen in a while. People like, what's his name? What's the guy? What's the guy's name? Adam Warlock. He's out there. We ain't seen him in a minute. You know, the Eternals are out there. It's a lot of characters. J-Man, what's good with you? I see you. We got to be excited for the X-Men, though, because think about how Jean Grey was in Spider-Man. She was bad, bro. So that's going to be something else. We're going to have a new Scott Summers, Cyclops. And they say it's going to be a different type of Cyclops. He's going to be more like the comics, the guy who's a leader and a strategic planner and all of that, you know, sort of like Captain America in that regard, where he leads the charge with the X-Men. That's good stuff. He should be. Jamil says, where's Nick Fury at? Hey, he out there in space. They got that space station now. They don't call it SWORD in the MCU, but in the comics, the space station is called SWORD. On the ground, it was SHIELD. Now he's in space. It was called SWORD. And Captain Marvel is still flying around, bringing them takeout from outer space. Look at David Scott here. I want Beta Ray Bill. Okay, now when they give you Beta Ray Bill, who you gonna want after that? And then who you gonna want after that? And then who you gonna want after that? Because listen, the Marvel Cinematic Universe now has all the rights to their characters, and they can bring anybody. So, you know, you just gotta wait, huh? You may die before they put all of them on screen because they got so many folks. So again, like I said to you a moment ago, find something to be happy about. Attach yourself to something happy with these happenings. Huh? Don't worry about it. Like, look, you got Black Panther 3. We're going to have a new T'Challa. You got a new Storm and X-Men. Guess what? They could do the wedding story with Storm and T'Challa now. Huh? How about that? Well, listen, man. Jamil, he says all these Thor movies and we never got Balder. Listen. This is what happened when you have people like that director Taika Waititi. He got away with Thor what's it called? Ragnarok. But that Thor Love and Thunder, man, they shouldn't have never let that dude make that movie, bro. I don't know why is he still working in Hollywood? Why? They should have put him in the movie so Dr. Doom can do what he does to people like him. Taika Waititi. Get him out of here. Jimmy Bernard says Henry Cavill, the next Wolverine. Listen, if they were smart and they wanted to recast Wolverine, especially since they got an affinity for these UK actors, right? These British men. Go on over there and get Daniel Radcliffe and bring him over here, put him on a weight program, and let him be the new Wolverine. He could pull it off because he's a damn good actor. and he will be about as comic accurate as you could be being Wolverine. Daniel Radcliffe. There you go. Henry Cavill, he got Zack Snyder situations on the horizon for him. As soon as Paramount and WBDC get their stuff together, he's going to be right over there with Zack Snyder. That's not to say I don't want to see him in a Marvel production, but maybe not as Wolverine, maybe as Captain Britain or something like that. Yeah, J-Man, because in the comics, Wolverine is like 5'3" or 5'4", or something like that. He's a little short dude. And Daniel Radcliffe is about 5'5". He'd be perfect. And if you go watch some of his movies that he's done since Harry Potter, man, let me tell you something. That'd be perfect. And he's a little bit older than those guys that are playing the X-Men. So that would be perfect. He's you know, because Wolverine is a little older because he's lived for 200 years anyway. Jimmy Bernard says, Love and Thunder is dumpster fire. No, Love and Thunder is acid. Huh? It's just straight nasty trash garbage that like you burn it, huh? And leave just incinerated. Why was that allowed to be released in theaters? I have no idea. Who greenlit that mess? Kevin Feige must have been on that other side of the studios when he let those woke folks make all that stuff. No. Shelton says, y'all ever see that movie Horns? What about Horns, Shelton? What about it? I haven't heard of it, but what about it? No, J-Man, they don't have to get him on the juice heavy. Did you see Tom Holland in Spider-Man? That scene where he took his shirt off? Tom was in good shape. He was buff, but he didn't even look like that in his Spider-Man suit. So, but you know, that's all. Radcliffe will need some definition in his arms. I've seen him grow a beard and everything already, so they could cut his hair a certain kind of way, give him that Wolverine beard and everything, and let him, you know, talk a little deep with his voice. There you go. Logan. That's him. No, Mr. Shelton, I haven't seen it. But I did see the one where he played with the gangbangers and everything. Those British gangbangers. I can't think of the name of that film now. I got it on DVD. Yeah. And I'm sure he's tired of people calling him Harry Potter. So, you know, just if he could be the new Wolverine, he'd love it. Yeah, J-Man, listen. You're trying to be too specific. Listen, bro. Movie magic, okay? They can make him look stocky. They could pad his outfit or whatever. There are ways to do it, man. You know what I'm saying? See, you're bringing that mindset that you guys have like in the boxing field. You're bringing that over even into this subject. It's like you got to have vision, bro. If you're going to be short-sighted, you're not going to enjoy anything. You're not, because you won't allow yourself to do so. I just mentioned that the young man is like 5'4", 5'5". Wolverine in the comics is like 5'3", 5'4". He's a little dude, but yes, he's stocky. You don't think that they can make him look more mad? The camera adds 10 pounds anyway. So, do you think in the last film, Deadpool and Wolverine, that Hugh Jackman's arms was all jacked and everything like that? No, that was CGI. Do you know when he filmed the movie, he filmed it wearing the costume, but the costume had long sleeves. But in post-production, they took the sleeves off and made his arms like bare armed. Did you know that? Did you know that? So Hugh Jackman's arms being all buffed up and everything, that was movie magic. And I realized a few films back that they started doing that to Chris Hemsworth. You know how Thor wears those silver chain mail on his arms? Well, when they show his arms are bare and his arms look really big, movie magic. Tim TV, what's good with you? I see you. Yeah, you gotta let yourself see. This is the whole point of this, is like to have escapism, right? It's like allow yourself to enjoy it, man. Allow yourself to enjoy it, because there's so many things we could complain about and be crying sour grapes and all of that. Just enjoy it, because it's not gonna last forever. Nothing is lasting forever. Nothing. And they let those guys juice up anyway when they do that stuff for the superhero films. Like the dude that played Adam Warlock, I forget his name, that actor in Guardians Volume 3. Wasn't he like a little skinny dude? And they put him in the gym and he came out. He was kind of buffed up when he played Adam Warlock. I was like, that don't even look like the same actor. Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta let yourself enjoy it, man. Let yourself enjoy it. And he needs to come back because we only saw him in that. But Adam Warlock is another one of those characters that he's, important when you're talking about being out in the universe and the galaxies and stuff like that. Warlock is an important character. And we supposed to be getting Hercules too, because at the end of Love and Thunder, Zeus was sending Hercules after Thor. And the guy that played Zeus' son, Hercules, he wasn't even real muscular. He was just kind of a big dude, burly kind of guy. But I guarantee when they do the movie, he gonna have to lift some weights and everything and get more cut up because Hercules is supposed to be, Adonis. And who's that? The other guy. There's another guy. I just want them to make good movies. That's all. I want to be able to go to the theater and say, man, I could watch that again. If you give me a movie that I watch it and then I say, well, wow, I enjoyed that so much, I want to see it a second time. That's all I want to do. Yeah. But it's important to have something to escape because our reality is really rough, man. You got people that can't hardly make it, people very unhappy with what's going on in life. Some of them can't even enjoy these movies or whatever because they don't have the financial means to do so. But just being able to talk about it and, have a sense of escape, that's what it is. The Netric Banner, I hear you. I hear you. That's why you see Stormy B Man doing this now. I always have something to fall back on. If I'm not doing this, I'm gonna be talking about my kung fu movies. If I ain't talking about my kung fu movies, I'm gonna be talking about my music, Beats with Sugar. I got plenty. Got my Patreon. I got videos up there over there uploaded this week. You guys need to go check out my Patreon. There's some people that had signed that had unsubscribed from it because I hadn't put any material up for like a month. But it's like, you know what? Y'all gonna miss out because Stormy got plenty to talk about, and I'm gonna be over there, Patreon. So, I have options. Ain't gonna be sitting up here worried about these little girly girls wearing tutus in the boxing ring. I knew something was wrong when they started coming in there. Everybody was wearing skirts. You wear boxing trunks. These dudes coming in there with skirts on. I'm like, okay, precursor. I see it. Nope. But you can't do that in my music. Can't do that with my kung fu. Can't do that with my nerd stuff. Nope. There's no space for that. No space for that at all. Yeah, I appreciate that, EJ. But when they if they don't watch it, they don't tune in. 78 ain't the only one that can cook over there. I'm telling you. But hey, I'm not boasting or bragging or nothing. I'm just saying that, I can talk about some other stuff too. It ain't gotta be, this whole thing that they've ruined as far as boxing. I don't care. I don't care. Get rid of them dudes. T-Berry's asking any info on the Game of Death update. I've been waiting to hear from Mr. Neon Flux. I haven't heard back from him yet, but I think what he's doing right now presently, because he's come up with an ending and everything for that, but I think what he's doing now is piecing together the entire thing to make it a cohesive production, because everything was being released in skits of trailers, but he completed that process. Now it's about fine-tuning and taking script and dialogue and make it a complete film. Because I did ask him, I asked, was that just going to be like an exoskeleton, or are you going to incorporate it with the actual footage? And he said it's going to be incorporated with the actual footage to make it a cohesive joint, which is great. And that will take time. But there's a guy that does the same thing, but he's been doing Bruce Lee animations and stuff since the early 2000s. And man, this young man is really, really good. His Bruce Lee looks so real. I mean, wow. Yeah. How do you guys feel about Ryan Gosling being the new Ghost Rider? What do you think about that? I thought he was going to be Nova. That would seem more right for me, like Richard Rider, the Nova. How do you guys? Yeah. Yeah, Columbia, I heard about that. Even if he's not able to complete it due to that, Columbia, I'm glad that he did what he did, because it made it solid for me. I really appreciated that. But now you got this, whatever these guys are putting together these fights, like Ray Leonard and Floyd Mayweather, or what was that? That was Bud and Boots Ennis and all of that. That is like, I don't know what AI they're using for that, but that it look like those guys are really in the ring fighting each other. Yeah, I have that movie, J-Man, Place Beyond the Pines. I got that movie in my collection. Yep. Oh, okay, Columbia, you're trying to get some nunchucks from James O'Connor? Yeah, it took him a while to respond to me too initially, but if you've contacted him or reached out to him a couple of times, just do it again, you know, because you have to. He's probably not only just tied up with life, but I let him know who I was and everything. And once we had that initial correspondence, everything went like boom, 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 and it was very good. But he's a really cool guy, does wonderful work. I am so proud of my what I was able to get from him. But if you're gonna get some, I hope that you're able to do so. You know. Yeah. Yeah. Man, I'm looking at my beard is so white on here. It's like, damn, Stormy getting old, y'all. I'm gonna look like one of them old kung fu masters. If my eyebrows turn white, I'm gonna be like Pai Mei on here. I don't think you're good enough to avenge your master. Dang. Yeah, buddy. Shit. I go back and look at a video that I put out like 2 years ago. My beard was dark. Now it's all white. I guess all this stress in my life, I'm like turning into a relic. Shit, y'all gonna come and check me out one day. I'm gonna be on here like this. You're just gonna hear a voice. Yeah, my body ain't gonna be moving. It's gonna be like, damn, is that what Columbia call it? Is that C-Dance 2.0? Stormy B. It's gonna be AI. I'll be like, damn, man, what happened to Stormy? It's like he gone. No, Tim TV, I ain't doing that, bro. Listen, I can get off of here, when it's time to cut the show, it's time to cut the show. I ain't trying to be on here for and that this ought to let you know that I ain't that type of person, because I come on here, I talk about this. There's nothing in boxing right now that makes me want to talk about boxing. Absolutely nothing. And if I did say something about boxing, I'm gonna offend everybody. I'm gonna offend all of them, because you know what? They've offended me, huh? And I'm like Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon. You have offended my family, and you have offended the Shaolin Temple. Yep. And I want to kick him in the face, just like when Bruce Lee kicked hand after he said that. Bam! Yep. Get rid of these dudes, man. A bunch of sissies out there. You got a bunch of sissies supporting them. Yeah. The sissies are helping the sissies. Everybody is sissified out there. It's like crazy. Peons. Chumps. What kind of stuff is that, man? Yeah, Columbia, tomorrow is going to be returned to the 36th chamber. So be ready for that tomorrow, Columbia. We're going to talk about Gordon Lau and return to the 36th chamber. That might be a Rumble only broadcast there. Okay. So just know, because if I decide I want to play a clip or two, YT won't hear from me. Anyway, but I've been on here long enough, man. We talked about the X-Men, talked about Ghost Rider, Black Panther 3 is in the works. Thank you, Ryan Coogler, keeping that going. Yeah. For those of you that came late, you know, we're gonna do our thing. But yeah, look for tomorrow's show. It's gonna be Kung Fu Film Focus. Return to the 36th chamber. Yeah. The follow-up to the 36th chamber of Shaolin, the Master Killer. Yeah. So that's what it's gonna be. But I'm gonna get ready to get on out of here, you guys. Appreciate everybody that came out. It don't take all night to do this. You know what I'm saying? I thank you all. Have a great rest of your week. This is hump day. So it should be downhill from there. If it's still uphill, you're doing something wrong. Yeah. So with that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. Appreciate everybody. Catch you on the next one.